You know, I remember when I wrote this song, I'm going to be the first to admit, I didn't want to record it because I felt like, you know, I'd finally gotten this off of my chest, and I was like, man, I don't want to go back and start talking about it and singing about it and stuff. But the record label I was on at the time, they heard the song, they wanted me to record it, and I'm so very thankful that I did, because this song definitely has, man, it's just reached out and reached hundreds and thousands of people. I remember when I lived with that family that took me in, they just, seriously, they changed my entire life. And unfortunately, Russell was the gentleman of the house. He left, he passed away before B did. But I remember the last day, I'd already moved out, and I used to go and I'd get, her name was Beatrice, but we called her B. And I used to go pick her up and take her to all the little cookouts and all the little talent shows, or wherever I would go and sing, and I'd take her with me. And I remember one evening I was sitting on the stage and I was singing, and I looked down in the audience and I saw her, and just after the show, I don't know, I had this thought on my mind. As we were in a car and we're driving down the road, I looked over at her, and just something told me. It said, tell her exactly how much you appreciate her. And I can tell you right now, man, I was not used to doing that at all. I was just, you know, you're not used to hearing it, so you're not used to saying it. But I remember as I was driving, I kind of looked at her and I was like, ugh. So I'm driving, I'm like, I looked at her and I was like, B, I said, I love you. I'm driving. And it just shocked her, because out of all the years she had never heard me say that. And it was just something told me to say it. And once I told her that, of course, the gate opened, man. I just started telling her how much I appreciate her, and all the stuff that I have accomplished or whatever is because of her, and Russell reaching out and taking me in and through their home. And we got to her house. I walked around and I opened a door for her, and I helped her out of the car, and I walked her to the front door. And by this time she was probably in her mid-80s, and she just stood at the glass door. And I said, well, I'm gonna come back in a couple of days, and I'm going to pick you up, and we'll go to another show. And she said, all right. And she looked right at me, and she said goodbye. And I remember standing there looking at her thinking, well, that's kind of weird sounding. It didn't sound right to me. And I said, all right, I'll see you. And she said it again. She said, goodbye, Jimmy. And I'll never forget it. And I looked at her and I said, all right, bye. And she waved, and then I'm like, wow. I mean, I'm like 3 feet from her, and she's waving at me. And so she waves, and I wave at her, and next thing you know, she's waving, and I'm waving. We're the waving game in the yard. And I started waving and walking to my car, and we're waving, and she's waving, and we're waving like crazy. And I mean, it's just, this thing goes on forever. I get in my car and I'm waving, I'm blowing the horn, and she's waving away, and I'm waving inside of the car, and I'm waving through the rear view mirror, and I just blowing my horn until I'm gone. I don't see her again. And this is God's honest truth. The next day, I got a phone call from her daughter, and she said, you may want to go to the hospital because Mom had a stroke last night. And that was the very last time that we spoke, and the very, very last time that we ever said one word to each other. But the last thing that we said to each other was I got a chance to tell her that I loved her. One time in my whole life that I told her that was it. And I'm very, very, very thankful for her and for Russell, and the chance to get to say that to her, and definitely not missing that opportunity. So I wrote this song for them, and like I said, for those folks out there, and I'm very glad that I had a chance to record it. So this song goes out to B and Russell and all the folks out there who get involved in helping out them kids, man. I'm telling you, it's amazing. Thank you so much.